Level 1, the holder. You have $3,800. It's sitting in a checking account. Not invested, not working, just there. Your bank is lending it out at 12%. You're earning 0.01%. You don't notice. That spread, that difference between what they make and what you earn, that's the business model, and you're on the wrong side of it. Every 2 weeks, your paycheck lands. You pay rent, groceries, insurance, gas. A few subscriptions quietly renew in the background. You don't question them. What's left? You call it savings. But it's not a system, it's leftovers. You open a high-yield account, 4.2% APY. You compare a few options, you pick one, it feels like progress. You feel like you've made a move. You automate $150 a month. It happens quietly, no friction, no thinking. You don't need discipline anymore. You replaced it with a system. At the end of the year, you earned $67. You stare at it. $67. It feels small. It is small. It doesn't change your life. It doesn't even change your month. But something invisible just started. You didn't increase your income. You didn't take more risk. You changed the direction of your money. That's the first shift. Most people never make it. You are not building wealth yet. You are building behavior. And behavior compounds before money ever does. You are still a holder, but the switch has flipped. Level 2. The starter. You open an investment account. It feels unfamiliar. Different interface, different language. You hesitate for a second. Then you move forward anyway. $500 goes in. You pause. Then you click Buy. An index fund. Broad market. Hundreds of companies. You're not betting on one winner. You're betting on the system itself. Nothing flashy, no headlines. Historically, approximately 10% annually, not guaranteed, but consistent enough to matter. You turn on dividend reinvestment. Every payout buys more ownership, automatically. No decisions required, no timing needed. Month 1, plus $3.12. It feels insignificant, almost irrelevant. Month 6, plus $48, you start noticing it. Month 12, you've invested $6,000. Your gains, $210. Not impressive, not exciting, but real. Then the market drops, 8% in 10 days. No warning, no explanation that feels good enough. You lose $480 overnight. It feels different when it's real. This isn't theory anymore, this is your money. Your thumb hovers over sell. You imagine stopping the loss. You imagine relief. You imagine control. But you also remember something. You didn't invest for this week. You invested for decades. You don't press it. You close the app. You wait. That decision, it matters more than the $480. Weeks later, it recovers, then grows, quietly, like it always has. You learn something nobody teaches clearly. Volatility is not the problem. It's the cost, the price of being in the system. You search, $500 per month, 30 years, 10%. The number is over $1 million. You stare at it longer than you expected. You don't fully believe it. It feels too simple, too mechanical, but you can't ignore it. You realize something subtle. No one in that equation worked harder. No one got lucky. They just stayed. Money is no longer something you spend. It's something you deploy. Every dollar now has a job. Every dollar is either working or waiting to work. You are no longer a holder. You are a starter. The machine is warming up. Level 3. The builder. Your portfolio hits $50,000. There's no milestone alert, no notification. You just notice it one day while checking. You pause for a second. Then you move on. That's how this works. Quiet progress. You start tracking your net worth. Not obsessively, not every hour, but intentionally. Once a week, maybe every Sunday. You want visibility, not validation. You max your retirement accounts. You don't guess. You follow limits. You capture every employer match. Because that's not investing, that's free return. You realize something uncomfortable. Fees matter more than effort. 1% doesn't sound like much until you stretch it across decades, until you see what it does to compounding, until you realize it quietly takes 6 figures from you. You switch to low-cost funds. You simplify everything. Fewer accounts, fewer decisions, less noise. You automate everything. Investments, contributions, rebalancing reminders. Your allocation becomes deliberate. Growth, stability, exposure, not random, not reactive. You rebalance twice a year. No emotions, no predictions, just math. Friends ask what you're investing in. They expect something exciting, something new, something they haven't heard yet. You don't mention trends, you don't mention hype, you mention systems, consistency, low cost, long term. They look disappointed. You're okay with that, because you've already learned what they haven't. Boring scales. Excitement doesn't. You learn another truth. The first $100,000 feels impossible, slow, heavy, like nothing is happening. The next feels inevitable, because now returns start contributing, not just your deposits. Your portfolio starts producing noticeable returns. Some months, it matches your contributions. That changes how it feels. Not life-changing, but noticeable. And that's enough. Because now it's not just you working. Your money is working too. You're not chasing money anymore. You're directing it. With intention, with structure, with patience. You are a builder. And now it starts accelerating. Level 4, the stabilizer. $300,000 net worth. No announcement, no celebration, just a quiet awareness. You see the number, you acknowledge it, then you move on, because by now you understand milestones don't change the process. The market drops 20%, headlines get louder, people start reacting, your portfolio loses $60,000 on paper, in weeks, a number that would have broken you years ago. Back then that loss would have felt permanent. Now it feels temporary, uncomfortable but expected. Now, you keep investing. Same schedule, same amount, no deviation, no waiting for the bottom, no trying to outsmart the cycle. You already know how that ends. You've built something more important than wealth, emotional insulation. The ability to stay still when everything around you is moving. You expand your strategy, not by chasing returns, but by refining structure, tax efficiency. You start paying attention to where assets sit, not just what they are. Asset location, tax-advantaged accounts versus taxable ones. You place income-heavy assets where they're taxed less. You reduce drag, quietly. Risk management, not avoiding risk. Understanding it, controlling exposure. You add real assets, maybe real estate, something tangible, something that produces income, maybe income-producing funds. Cash flow starts becoming part of the picture, not just appreciation. You build a 12-month safety buffer, fully funded. No dependence on markets, no forced selling. You've bought yourself time, and time is the most valuable asset in downturns. You stop thinking in months. Monthly returns don't matter anymore. You think in cycles, years, decades, full market rotations. People call you lucky. They see the result, not the restraint. You don't correct them. You understand something deeper. Consistency looks like luck from the outside, but it never is. You are no longer reacting. You are stabilizing, absorbing volatility, staying positioned. The machine is strong now. It doesn't need motivation. It needs discipline. Level 5, the multiplier. $1 million. You don't say it out loud. You don't post it. You just sit with it. Because something changes here. Not emotionally, structurally. This is where effort starts stepping back and capital starts stepping forward. Your money now generates meaningful income. Dividends, interest, distributions, without selling, without effort, without interrupting growth. You notice it in your accounts. Cash appearing regularly. You explore new territory, not because you're bored, because you now qualify. Private deals, alternative assets, opportunities with barriers, minimums, lockups, requirements, not hype, access. You start seeing things that weren't visible before. You read terms carefully. You slow down. Fees, lockups, risk, you don't rush, because now mistakes are expensive. You understand trade-offs now. Liquidity versus return, quick access versus higher yield, simplicity versus optimization. You don't chase the highest number, you choose the right structure. Your portfolio earns from multiple channels. Growth, income, tax advantages, different streams, working together. Not overlapping, not conflicting. You stop chasing returns. That phase is over. You start designing outcomes, income targets, risk thresholds, time horizons. Your money is no longer growing linearly, it's stacking, layer on layer. Each decision reinforcing the previous one, each asset serving a role. You are no longer just investing, you are multiplying, and scale begins to change the rules. Level 6, the designer, $3 to $5 million range. From the outside, nothing dramatic has changed. Same lifestyle, same routines, but internally, everything is engineered. Your tax rate drops, noticeably, not by luck, not by loopholes, by structure. You use legal frameworks most people never learn, not because they're hidden, because they're irrelevant. Until this level. Trusts, strategic giving, long-term positioning. You move assets intentionally. You think about ownership differently, not just what you own, but how you own it. You don't react to tax season anymore. There's no scrambling, no last-minute decisions. You plan years ahead, sometimes decades. Your investments are coordinated, not scattered. Every decision connects. Every move considers the ripple effect. Taxes, liquidity, legacy. You eliminate friction, you reduce leakage, you increase efficiency, quietly. You think in decades, not quarters, not headlines. Time becomes your biggest advantage. Your children, if you have them, benefit from systems you built before they understand money. Accounts seeded early, structures already in place. They don't start from zero, they start from momentum. You realize something uncomfortable. Wealth is not just about effort. It never was. It's about design, structure, positioning. And design compounds, just like money, maybe even faster. You are no longer just growing wealth. You are shaping its path, directing its flow, controlling its outcome. You are the designer. And now, proximity starts to matter. Level 7. The Insider. $10 million plus territory. No announcement, no headline, just a different reality. Doors open quietly, not publicly. No invitations, no spotlight, just access. You meet people you didn't seek, not through effort, through proximity. Introductions happen without you asking. Rooms you didn't know existed, you now sit inside them. You see opportunities that aren't advertised. No landing pages, no public pitch decks, no limited time offer, just conversations, private, direct. You realize something subtle. By the time most opportunities become public, the best parts are already allocated. You realize information flows differently at this level, earlier, faster, more selectively. Deals come through networks, not platforms, relationships, not algorithms. You participate in things earlier, sometimes before they exist publicly. Seed rounds, private allocations, strategic entries. You're not reacting to trends anymore. You're positioned before they form. You sit closer to decision makers, operators, founders, allocators. Not because you tried, because capital creates proximity, and proximity changes perspective. Market downturns feel different. They are not threats. They are events, cycles, expected, necessary. You don't panic. You prepare. You have liquidity, cash reserves, lines of access, dry powder. You have patience. No urgency to sell, no pressure to act. You have insulation. Your lifestyle doesn't depend on market timing. Your decisions don't depend on headlines. You begin to understand something most never see. The system rewards those who can stay in it the longest. Not the smartest, not the fastest, the most durable. You are no longer just participating. You are positioned, and positioning compounds more than effort ever could. Level 8. The structure. You are no longer thinking as an individual. That phase is over. You are thinking in systems, entities, structures, frameworks that operate without you, capital that outlives you. Not just money, organized money, directed money. Your assets are structured, not scattered, not reactive, intentional. They generate, distribute, and reinvest automatically. Income flows in, allocations adjust, growth continues, without your constant input. You don't check balances often, not because you don't care, because you don't need to. The outcome is already set in motion. The system is doing what it was designed to do. Your focus shifts, subtly, permanently, not to more. That phase ended, but to continuity. What continues without you? What grows without your attention? What survives volatility, time, and transition? You start asking different questions, not about returns, about resilience, not about growth, about permanence. You realize the final truth. Compound interest was never just about money. Money was just the entry point. It was about time, time in the system, time without interruption. It was about behavior, the discipline to stay consistent when nothing is happening. It was about access, what becomes available when you cross certain thresholds. It was about structure, how everything is organized, protected, and directed. And eventually, it becomes about influence. Not loud, not visible, but real. The ability to shape outcomes without force, without noise. The machine you turned on at $150 a month, that small, forgettable decision, was never small. It was just early, and early always looks invisible, slow, insignificant, easy to ignore, until one day it isn't. And by then, it's already too late to call it luck.